Benevolence, dear mortals, I'll be your curator for this evening. Please, call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. So the month of June is almost behind us. Time flies when you're having fun or when you're waiting for something, I guess. This has been a really good month as far as obtaining items and reading is concerned. This is Pride Month, as in my last video. I've read some really good manga, and I want to share with you my thoughts and opinions on the things that I read. And I have a few. I have a little stack of books that moved me in a way that I felt really happy to make this video. Very excited to talk about these characters, their drama, their worlds, their ideas, and their quotes. So come along and let me show you all these fun manga volumes. I want to start off with the Given. I've been collecting Given for a little while. I'm still behind, but I always wanted to check it out. It is boys love, music-oriented manga. Mostly about rock music, but it's got a few other inspirations within it. The art's beautiful, the characters are pretty fleshed out, and the story moves pretty quickly. I've only read the first volume so far because I decided to have a little more variety than trying to finish or catch up on each series that I could. I read like 1 or 2 volumes of each manga that I have here except for one. So this is the cover, beautiful colors. Let's talk about it. So Given, the main character is a guitarist. He has a type of personality where he gets obsessed with something that he likes, gets really good at it, and then slowly falls out of love with it. He's constantly looking for the next thing that's gonna make him feel. He's in a band, they're an instrumental band, and one day he meets another musician. But at the time, this character isn't much of a musician, but he happens to be napping on the stairs at school. This manga takes place in high school, by the way. He's napping on the stairs with a really beautiful guitar. And the main character thinks, this is a really beat up guitar, it's a really nice guitar. Why is he in my space? I usually sleep here. The guy wakes up and he's like, will you teach me guitar? And he's like, not really, I don't really want to do that. And we spend most of the first volume with the main character being rigid and sort of cold towards this character. As the main character warms up to this mystery guitarist, it begins to affect the way that he plays music. He starts to really care about the riffs that he's playing and the music that he's writing and his sound, and his other band members take notice. And everyone notices around him that hears his music except for him. So he's like, does this person really have an effect on me? Do I care? And he starts to get to know this guitarist more and more, and he's like, I'll try to help teach you. He brings him to their band practice to show him, what performance sounds like, what practicing sounds like. And as he warms up to him, he learns things about him that makes him question this person's character. The character in question, the wannabe musician, wannabe guitarist, kind of has like a dark past or mysterious past. And he wants to get to know him, but at the same time, he's mostly focused on the music, the main character is. And he doesn't want to pry too much into this other character's life, but he keeps hearing about the other character's life through passing through other classmates and the other band members at times as well. So by the end of the volume, we kind of gather that the main character begins to care about this other musician, and the other musician, I call him another musician because he just catches on so quickly. And we learn later that even though he's not great at guitar yet, and I say yet because he's learning so quickly, he's a very good singer. So the main character's like, you gotta join our band. And he's like, no. And he's like, what do you mean no? I thought you wanted music. And They have misunderstandings quite a lot because this other musician is very aloof, very literal with the things that they feel and the things that they say, while our main character is a little more sarcastic, a little more in the moment, but he becomes more aloof himself as he drowns in his thoughts about this other musician, this other character. He's like, who is this person? Why do I hear these things about him? Why does he want to learn guitar so bad? Why didn't he want to join the band? He's got questions and he's trying to comprehend this other person, all the while feeling more passionate about his own music indirectly and trying to figure out what is it about him that's making me care about my music so much. Because at this point, well, before meeting him, he was kind of bored with music and he was just doing it because why quit when you put in so much work and you've gotten so good at it? But he also didn't really have a reason to continue playing, so he was just existing in the music rather than living in it. So that's Given. Given's amazing. Next we got Crossplay Love. This one is an interesting manga. I'll get a little bit closer. I love the art in this one as well. It's interesting because we have two characters. They're both guys. And we really don't know what, because I haven't read too far. I think I'm on like volume 3 or 4. I wanted to take a break on it because I didn't want to just read it all and then have to wait. I want to eventually binge it. That's my problem. I love binging my series. I don't like just reading one volume, let me wait a month, another volume, let me wait some more. I like to just read it all in one sitting. This manga is interesting because you don't really know, it's not really specified what genders these characters are presenting as. It's implied that they're both men and they just dress up as women for their conveniences for whatever they're doing. But their conveniences just happen to connect with each other. And the interesting dilemma with this manga is their women counterparts, their girl counterparts really like each other. The guy counterparts can't stand each other. And they do it in secret, so no one knows, including each other. And they can't tell because they're just so good at becoming that other persona. So I kind of consider them both main characters. They both get such a balanced amount of screen time. You know, they get a very equal amount of panels in these mangas, and they get a lot of dialogue as well. So main character A, which is the nerdy otaku, that's why it says otaku punk, kind of quiet, kind of chill. We'll call him the otaku. He works at, what do you call that? At a maid cafe. And when he dresses up as a woman, it's better for his job. He makes more money and it's just more comfortable for him. And he rocks it well. He does a great job. Our other character, the punk, he dresses up as a girl to feel more comfortable going to maid cafes. And he just happens to go to the other guy, the otaku's maid cafe by chance. It's like close to his house. And he takes a liking to, oh, my apologies, not the otaku, the punk happens to go to the otaku's cafe. They just happen to really hit it off. They have a great conversation. They really like each other and they eventually exchange numbers and talk to each other. And they have like a really fun dynamic. They go to the same school and they see each other in passing and they just don't like each other. The otaku is like, the punk is always fighting. He's always rude and mean. You know, I just don't like this person at all. And then the punk is like, this guy's a nerd. He's a loser. So quiet, lame. So I've been reading a few volumes and I'm like terrified. What are they gonna do when they find out each other's actual identities? And then with this manga, since their identities are so good for their aliases, what if who they're being at the maid cafe is really who they are, and who they are at school is just kind of a side effect to like society and everything around them? It's really fun and I really enjoy reading it. And they get into really cute situations and really like interesting dilemmas and dynamics. So yeah, this is a really fun manga. I actually enjoy Cross-Play Love probably the second or third most out of this little stack of books that I got. Next we have Welcome Back Alice, from the creator of The Flowers of Evil and the amazing vampire title Happiness. Love his art, Shuzo Oshimi. This manga deals with the realm of transgender. I haven't read a lot of it. I think I read like 4 or 5 volumes. There's not a lot of volumes out. I think they're on like volume 6 or 7 right now. So I don't remember if the main character, or not, she's actually a side character. I don't know, or he. I don't know exactly what gender they were going for. I don't remember off the top. But for now, we'll just say Alice. And we'll say they, because I don't remember which one right now. So Alice was in a friend triangle with another character and another girl character. So it was a girl and a guy. And Alice left for a while, and they kind of got into a little bit of drama because they all kind of liked each other in a way that didn't work for all of them. It was just mismatched and unbalanced. And then Alice left, and then when Alice came back, Alice was presenting as a girl, and everybody in the school was like, what? But the main character was like, you're still the same person, so it's whatever. But eventually everybody in the school kind of got used to it, and they were just fine with it. Alice is the type of character that wouldn't care either way. You could accept Alice or not accept Alice. Alice is going to be Alice, which is really cool. I love characters and people like that, and I strive to be that person. Like, no matter how you feel about me, at the end of the day, I'm going to be me. That's such a powerful trait, and I think that the world would be a better place with more people like that. But it could be a worse place, because if people are like, I'm just gonna be this terrible person, there's nothing you could do about it, and that's not good either. Like, being your genuine self is a slippery slope, because sometimes your genuine feelings are just trash. They're not good, and they hurt other people. And then sometimes your genuine feelings are revolutionary. Like, you're moving people, you're inspiring people, and your genuine feelings help people. Like, I feel this way about myself, and another person is like, I wish I could feel that way about myself. And then you do it so unapologetically that they start to believe, I can feel that way about myself. And now you're leading a revolution and a mass of people that are just being true to themselves instead of being NPCs or being a fabrication of whatever they think is fit in society. Side tangent. So Welcome Back Alice is really fun and interesting to read, because Alice is being exactly who they want to be, and we get to see the effects of all the people around them. And the main character is confused. Do I like Alice? Do I forget the past with Alice? Do I still like the other character that kind of broke up our friend triangle? So the main character is just really confused about himself because Alice exists. And it just goes to show how powerful Alice is as a character, and how powerful the concept of being true to oneself can be, not just for yourself, but for your surroundings. So that really makes Alice an amazing read. And with Shuzo Oshimi, his works tell the story within the panels, but you don't need as much dialogue. So you can breeze through his stories really quickly. I read Happiness 10 volumes in one pretty quick sitting, and you get so much more context from the art versus the dialogue and the composition, or the exposition rather, not the composition. So same scenario with this manga. There's a little bit more dialogue, and there's more volumes probably gonna be coming out. But reading between the lines and seeing the art really gets you to understand the characters' feelings and their facial expressions, let you know how they're reacting to each other. And it's a great read, and I highly recommend it. Now I'm going to I'm going to talk about a clamp title, a classic, one of the first boys' loves ever in America, I believe. I still didn't look that up yet, so don't quote me. Beautiful cover. What a beautiful crimson red. This is Tokyo Babylon by Clamp. Same creators of Magic Ray Earth, Cardcaptor Sakura, what else? Chobits. Just iconic group of women making manga. Love it. Unfortunately, I always have gripes with Clamp's work. They have some of the most beautiful line work in the manga game. Their dialogue is always so fun and spunky. Their characters are so unique, and they did fan fiction for JoJo some years back, so I'm always gonna love them for that. It's a very weird story. If you haven't heard of it or checked it out, they had Kakyoin and Jotaro in a BL relationship, so Clamp is wild. I love Clamp. What I don't love is when Clamp has characters that are way too young being in relationships with characters that are way too old, and it just keeps happening in their stories. And the nostalgia makes me hold on to their works, but it just rubs me the wrong way every time, and I'm kind of tired of it. And it ruins such great stories for me. Like in Chobits, the main character was like in college, so I think he was like 19 or 20, and the love interest was a robot, or not a robot, but a computer, but they call them Personicons. I think I said that right. I don't remember. It's been years since I read that manga. But her name is Chi, I remember that. And she has the appearance of a 14-year-old. Like, why? Like, make her 18, you know? I mean, it would change the dynamic a little bit, but it's gross to think of, and I have to phase it out of my mind, and I shouldn't have to do that to enjoy a story. Same thing with Cardcaptor Sakura. It's a side story, but a middle schooler is dating the teacher, and everybody is like, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. And it's just not cool. And it was a side story, so I really didn't care that much. But it pops up from time to time, and it ruins my immersion, it ruins the experience, and it makes me feel icky, you know, flipping through the panels and reading. And it's hard for me to support, but Cardcaptor Sakura is so iconic as a character, and I love magical girls. So it's difficult for me to like, just drop it, you know, it's terrible. And then with this story, let's get back on topic, Tokyo Babylon. You know, being a BL, I'm reading it and I love the art. It's got a supernatural appeal to it. We got like the main character, he can see spirits, ghosts, yokai, and he's able to communicate and, you know, help send them wherever they need to go. And he's a part of like I won't say tribe, but a group. And I think he's one of the last descendants left. He has like a twin sister who looks exactly like him, and if it weren't for her outfit, you just wouldn't be able to tell who is who, which is kind of fun. It's kind of confusing at times, but they have distinct different voices in this manga. Like, of course, you can't hear them speaking, but their dialogue and the way their body language and facial expression react to things, like even though they look exactly the same, of course, they're going to be wearing different clothing. Well, not of course, but in this particular manga, they're wearing vastly different clothing. You can tell them apart by the things that they say and the way that they react to things, which is great writing in my opinion. Towards the end of the first volume, you know, there's another clan, there's another group, and they are like the darkness, and they deal in the shadows, but they also do great things with spirits. It's not really spoken upon too much what they do in the first volume. It's more so the other group, how they work with spirits and whatnot. But you just know that he's powerful, and he's so nonchalant and goofy about his power. You know, he's like, oh, I'm just a lowly veterinarian. You know, I don't do anything like that. And the main character and the other characters, and even you as the reader, will sometimes forget, oh, this dude does stuff. So it's really fun. And then you start to see that not the main character, but this character. He's very tall, very broad shoulders, very shoujo-esque. Has a crush on the main character with the spirit medium abilities. And it's like, oh, you know, cute. And then it's like, you realize that, oh, the main character is like, I don't know, 15, 16, maybe 14, kind of a teen. And this other character is like in the mid-20s, early 30s, got a business suit on, big guy. He's definitely an adult. And it's like, all right, it's not specified too much, but feeling uncomfortable. I'm feeling that clamp discomfort with the age gaps. Not feeling this. But the rest of the story is fire. Like I'm actually really enjoying it. So I'm reading it, and then like the other character's like, I'm a man in love with a boy. And I'm like, why'd you have to say that? You could have kept that dialogue. Could have just said, I'm in love with this guy, and it's like not deemed normal by society. Had to say man and boy. So it's like, I don't want to drop this series, but that was just a big turnoff for me. Just to just say it so blatant out in the open like that. And I'm sure it appeals to a Japanese audience, but my American self, I'm not feeling it. And it's a shame because these stories are always so good and they're just so ruined by these tropes of age gaps and whatnot. But overall, I had a good time reading it besides that part. And last, but absolutely, certainly not least, quite the contrary, the best manga that I read this month, and probably one of the best LGBTQ plus mangas that I've read ever. I just can't think of a better one in this genre. Boys Run the Riot. Boys Run the Riot, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just knew that it was, a part of the queer genre of manga writing and manga style. I was really excited about it because the art on the covers was just really clean. It was really cool. And we have the gloss mixed with the matte finish. Kodansha killed that. I really didn't speak about the other companies who did and licensed the other mangas, but this one stuck out to me the most. I think Kodansha did Clamp's Tokyo Babylon as well. My apologies, that's Yin Press. I think Yin Press did a good job with those as well. Very simple, but just very nice and clean. But Boys Run the Riot, amazing cast of characters. Like, just great dialogue, great dynamics, relationships between these characters. And there was no romance involved, which was a breath of fresh air because they always throw romance in these genres somehow, and it takes away from the other very important focal points of the storytelling. I love romance. It's amazing. I have like a whole romance section in my manga collection, and it's one of my biggest sections in my collection. But I can tell when it's being forced or just being thrown in, and it really takes away from the other great parts of the story. Like sometimes it just doesn't need to be there. For Boys Run the Riot, this is about fashion. This is about self-expression. This is about art. This is about knowing yourself and loving yourself regardless of what anyone else thinks or feels. It speaks to the rebel in me. It speaks to the individual. It speaks to the artist in me. And it speaks to the youth. Like, yeah, be afraid to be who you are because the world is monstrous and the world is unforgiving and unloving to people who are individuals, to people who fall outside the realm of the norm. Be afraid, but don't let that fear stop you. Do it anyway. You're going to be outcasted. You're going to be treated differently. You might not have the privileges and the good, just the good that comes with being a sheep, being one with the flow, following the stream. If you're going against the grain, you're going against the flow, it's gonna be harder. But anything that you do in life that's difficult will more than likely reap better results than what you do that's easy. Sometimes working smart and not hard is the best option. Working hard reaps some type of benefit that you would find a positive versus a negative. Hard work feels good, not at first, but later. And it's hard work to go against the norm and to go against what society and what people in general want you to be. To break the mirror that they're showing in front of you, the image of what they want, and putting a painting in the place of that mirror of who you really want to be. It's a beautiful thing. And this manga does it with fashion in a way that a lot of literature and a lot of other mediums pale in comparison. Simple messages on their t-shirts and their jackets and their hoodies. They don't make amazing fashion. They're not like the greatest artists, but their messages are absolutely beautiful. You know, it's like no shame in my game. That was one of the first shirts that they made. And being Japanese, the English letters really appealed. You know, it was more artistic. Like sometimes we'll have a shirt and it's got kanji on it or katakana or maybe, you know, Hebrew, Arabic, just has a different language on it, but it says like a quote that's vaguely American. You wouldn't be able to read it or know it unless you spoke the language or you knew that clothing brand. It's just like a club almost, like if you know, you know, which makes the fashion cool. And then the grass is greener on the other side, meaning, wow, our language looks so bland here. And then like overseas, wow, English looks really cool. Look at those different fonts. You know, you got Old English, you got cursive, you got Times New Roman. English is cool. And then us, you know, oh God, kanji looks so cool. Those characters, they're just so aesthetic. And for them, they write it every day. It's normal for them. Or Arabic, wow, the way that the lines connect, and it just looks so beautiful. So I say that to say that we as a people kind of love what we don't have or what we aren't. And then sometimes we do love what we have and what we are, but we show an appreciation for things that are different. But when it comes to people being different, we shame them, we make them feel alienated, we make them feel wrong. And I think that we all need to work on that. Whether it's ableism, whether it's sexual exploitation, whether it's I think we've gotten a lot better with tattoos. Tattoos have become normal, piercings have become a lot more normal. And I'm hoping that other things that were deemed wrong or weird become normal too, you know? Because like that would absolutely make the world a better place. We'd be more loving to each other instead of abrasive and judgmental. And I judge people too. We all judge people in a certain way, but there's a difference between judging for the sake of this is different, what is this? I've never seen anything like that, in a questioning, inquisitive manner, versus you can't do that. That's horrible. Why would you do that? Disgusting. Looking down on someone. Or I could never do that. Wow, must be nice. You know, just judging someone and like pushing them into a different box or a different category when they're just existing. They're just living. Boys Run Riot's amazing. I sing its praises because it talks about its main character being born a woman, but just not feeling anything like a woman. Keeping the hair short, hating skirts, hating being treated like a woman or, you know, a girl is treated, you know, getting jobs in school, the fashion, and then liking girls and wishing to be presented more in a masculine way and just really connecting with masculine energy. This creates a dilemma for our main character. Our main character feels like a boy on the inside, but looks a little feminine on the outside, and is trying desperately to look the way that he feels. And that, you know, in this particular manga, it's said out loud that this character is a man and wants to be seen as one and wants to feel more like one. And they dive into transgender, and other characters are like confused about it. Some other characters are open to it. It's so realistic. That is the strong point of this manga. The realistic connections between the characters and how they react and respond to our main character's behavior. And the side characters, the way that they support or the way that they go against, you know, like, you never be a man, you never do this, you never do that, you're not strong enough, you're weak, you're physically weak. You can bind yourself as much as you want, but you're still a woman. You know, it's very toxic, very problematic, and very realistic, because we have these people walking around saying, oh, well, you're delusional, you know, this is a mental illness. You know, they're saying horrible things about people that feel a way inside, but just happen to present a way outside. but they don't want to present like that. It's just the way it is. That's where surgery comes in. That's where hormones come in, and etc. What I really love about this story is the fact that we have characters that support and that love and care that don't fit the stereotype. Like my second favorite character, because the main character is my favorite character for sure, but another side character, he ends up going to the same class. He repeats a year, and that's just not good in Japan. You're just super judged because of that. And he looks real punk rock, almost Yakuza. He's got like a ponytail, shaved sides, kind of like my hair, which is kind of fun. And he presents the idea, let's start a fashion company together. Main character's like, what? No? But then the main character's like, maybe I should. I want to express myself and I want to wear these clothes. And they bond over it. And then the other character is like, you should be yourself at all cost, and we should really make clothes that represent that. And it's just real. There's so many other great characters. There's a transgender YouTuber in the story that tries to help boost their clothing company because they really like the main character and how the main character really knows who they are, but is just having trouble presenting it. And very supportive, but kind of caused another dilemma for the main character. I won't get into too many spoilers because some of these parts are best heard or best seen and read in the story for the best effect. But I will say this is the best that I've read this month and the best that I've read in a long time. And whether you support or you don't support the queer community, read it, understand. And if you don't want to care or understand, it's just simply well written. And you'd have a good time with these characters and what they're going through and the challenges they face and the triumphs that they have. The roller coaster of emotion, the beautiful artwork, the fun dialogue. It's a little bit of cussing in there. So if you're a little younger, I think it's rated for older teens. So, if you're a little young, please don't read this. If you're an adult or an older teen, please read it. And if you've read it, let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. And if you're interested in it, let me know if you buy it or read it. And if it's not up your alley, read anyway and tell me if I was right or wrong. So that's what I read for this amazing month of June. This is a long video, but I really enjoyed what I read besides Tokyo Babylon. But I enjoyed that too, but I'm a hater when it comes to age gaps. I'm the biggest hater. But with that being said, thank you so much for checking out another video. I had a really good time. Can't wait to make the next one. I see you there. Peace.